What's your type? All February long, we're bringing you quizzes to unlock your personal power formula. Health, wealth, self-care, and happiness. Grab a pen and paper because our next quiz starts now.
Today's quiz, it's all about this. That's right. Are your grocery store receipts even longer and more expensive now that you've been eating at home? Food costs have shot up over the past year, and depending on what type of shopper you are, you may be spending more than you need to. So we asked you to send in your receipts from all across the country, and our supermarket insiders did some undercover shopping. We've analyzed 3 supermarket shopping types and uncovered smarter strategies targeting your type that will help you save more the next time you shop. Financial expert Farnoosh Torabi joins us now. Farnoosh, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Just to put this on everyone's radar screen, the prices that we paid, retail prices, went up 3% at the beginning of the pandemic, that's the biggest monthly increase since the early 70s, when we were itty bitty little children. So you say it's especially important right now to pay attention to the right type of supermarket shopping.
Yes.
You know your type to do that.
Yes, it's important because we are spending so much more money at the grocery store. That's no secret. The pandemic has led us to do that. But you mentioned also food prices going up. The essentials going up double-digit percentage points over the course of the last year, where we've got eggs, milk, dairy, poultry, things like that going up 13% year over year. So it's important to know your personality because you can then identify some shopping weaknesses, your weak spots, and then create a really personalized plan for you. When you go to the grocery store, you can get more bang for your buck.
All right, so we're going to do this with Tiffany. We're all taking this quiz right now. Keep track of your answers. We're going to tally them up, the A's, the B's, the C's at the end. And Tiffany is in her kitchen, innocently standing there. Let me see your shopping list. Does it look like mine?
You know what? It doesn't quite look like that, but it's definitely getting there.
So it's intimidating. So what changes have you seen in your grocery store receipts since the beginning of the pandemic?
You know what, Dr. Oz? Since the beginning of the pandemic, I have been trying to limit my exposure to going out. So my receipts are definitely a little more than they used to be because I'm stocking up more. I'm trying to make sure I have everything that I need. And so that, shows in a more expensive receipt, but I'm pretty much well stocked and ready to go.
All right, well, we're locked and loaded. Let's take the quiz then. We're going to put all these questions on DrOz.com. The first question of the quiz is, I peeked in your refrigerator and your freezer. Right? If I did that, what would I find? Would I find A, a balance of veggies, fruits, meats, and some sweet treats? That's sort of nice. Or B, spoiled food from last week's trip. I probably should clean this place out. Or C, fully stocked, got everything. In fact, I got a month's supply of chicken and veggies in the freezer. Tiffany, can we take a look at your fridge and your freezer, if you don't mind, right now? I'll invade your home.
Join me. You know what they say. You definitely eat what you can see. So come join me in my refrigerator. I have a blend of fruits and veggies. And you know what, Dr. Oz, you know I love you, so I'm going to keep it real with you. I still have some treats. My freezer has my gelatos, my sorbets, my frozen veggies, some more frozen veggies, and I'm well stocked on my plant-based meats because I'm mostly vegetarian, vegan. So, yeah, I am a solid A.
Yep, you are a prototype A. I'm proud of you, by the way. Probably
Thank
not.
you.
Sort of looks like my fridge and freezer, I've got to admit to everyone as well. All right, Farnoosh, next question. Take it away.
Right. Okay, everybody, what's for dinner tonight? Is it A, leftovers, B, a new recipe, but I got to run back to the store because I forgot an ingredient, or is it C, something from my overflowing pantry or freezer? I am stocked.
Tiffany, what letter are you?
I am a C, and I'm well stocked. So tonight I'm going to have, I'm blending in a cornucopia of fragrant, flavorful spices, and I'm going to do a vegetarian vegan take on like chicken and lamb korma, an Indian delight. So it's going to be good.
All right, let's go.
You should come over.
I will. Supermarket insider Phil Lempert has the next question. What does your grocery cart look like? Take it away.
So first of all, Tiffany, I've got to compliment you. I've never seen a refrigerator or a freezer that neat. Certainly mine is not. So here's the question for Tiffany and everybody else. What does your grocery cart look like? A, exactly what I came here for. B, the basics. But I topped it with some snacks and I saw some new fun items that I saw on my way to the checkout. And C, lots of cereals, pastas, and canned goods. So Tiffany?
I would say that I am am A. Like I said, I'm stocked. I pop in and out for what I want, what I need. So I'm definitely A. My grocery cart is what I came here for. I'm not trying to meander around and, be inspired. So.
All right. The next question. How often do you typically shop for food? Is it A, 1, 2 times a week? And I usually follow my list to a T. B, more than 2 times a week, but there are some quick trips in there. And C, not often. But when I do, I buy, and I buy in bulk. Tiffany, your answer.
Dr. Oz, for this one, I am a B. Because even though I'm trying to prepare myself, trying to limit my exposure, every now and then, you run out of something or you get a craving for something. So I'm still in the grocery store maybe a couple times a week. So I'm a B on this one.
You're becoming a bit of a mix here. I would have taken A there as well. Farnoosh, you got the next question.
Okay, next question. How do you react to your supermarket receipt? Is it A, a little bit more expensive? Ooh. B, they're small, but when I look at my credit card bill, it all adds up and more. Or C, a big dent in my wallet for each trip.
All right, it's time to tally up the answers. Tiffany, I know you had a little bit of everything. It's probably true for a lot of Americans, but which letter did you get the most?
I am saying that I am a solid A.
Right.
I definitely came up more A on most things.
All right, so if you're an A, which I am too as well, you're an autopilot shopper. Farnoosh, break down this kind of person.
All right, so I think I'm also sort of the autopilot shopper. This is somebody who really sticks to their list, which I can support, but they kind of do it to their detriment. They have tunnel vision. They're not willing to go beyond that list or try new stores or even look for some deals. So that list almost becomes a crutch and they end up spending more than they really should.
What about the Bs? Bs, they're the impulse shoppers.
The impulse shopper shops on emotion. They're forgetful. They shop on a whim. And they get to the grocery store feeling a little guilty about the procrastination or their forgetfulness. So instead of buying just the 3 items they intended to, they buy 13 or 30. And this is, somebody who I think also is not very good at planning and could use some real good strategy.
And finally, C's. These are interesting because they're the hoarder shoppers.
The hoarder shopper. This is something we saw a lot in the pandemic, right? People overbuying because they think that means more security. I'm going to buy 15 boxes of pasta for the apocalypse. But even though things are looking better in some ways, I think that mentality has stuck. And what we're finding is that this not only leads to overspending, but also waste.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Now you know your type. Up next, the smarter supermarket strategies based on your type. Find out how you can save hundreds of dollars the next time you shop. We're back with the quiz to find out if you're spending too much money at the grocery store. We just revealed these 3 types of shoppers. I want you to remember these. Are you an autopilot shopper, an impulse shopper, or the hoarder? Right, our quiz is on DrOz.com if you didn't catch the prior segment. Financial expert Farnoosh Torabi is back with the smart supermarket strategies to save hundreds of dollars for the year. We're going to start with the autopilot shopper. They're the list people, and they do not go off the list. I know people like that. I'm sort of like that. They typically shop the same items, the same place. They like their routine because it's working for it. Yeah. Now, you say if you're on the autopilot all time, you might be missing huge opportunities. Yeah. So share with me some surprising items that you might miss out on if you're always on your list in the wrong place.
So look, I like the list. I'm not going to ask you to derail from the list, but go to different stores. The grocery store is not always the best place to find the deals. And we have 2 big examples on everybody's list. First is milk. A gallon of milk. Guess where we found this cheaper than the grocery store? The drugstore.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, the drugstore, which you probably go there anyway once or twice a week. $1.10 savings. Over the course of a year, $53 in savings. Just this one switch with milk to go to the drugstore.
Is that because they want a loss leader to drag you into the store? Why would they do that?
It's anyone's guess,
okay. Anyway, shop for milk in the drugstore. Okay.
All right, next is coffee. So we found coffee cheaper actually at the office supply chain stores. Okay, I know that sounds a little bit weird, but offices buy this stuff in bulk. So you might get some really cheaper unit pricing at the office supply chain stores. It's $1.30 cheaper per trip. So, I've got a big coffee addiction. So over the course of a year, an average person could save over $62. And so total, milk and coffee, we picked these purposely because we love the milk and coffee, $115. That's just one item on your two items on your grocery list.
Well, but it becomes one item because it becomes your milk and your
Right,
coffee.
exactly.
All right, let's talk about the next group, the impulse shopper. This is the person who shops on a whim. Their trip may lead to lots of random purchases. Supermarket guru Phil Empert is back. So if you have your last receipt, pull it out because he's got this ultimate shopping hack that I adore. So you got a very creative checklist technique here. Share it with everybody.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Oz, your last week's shopping list is a lot bigger than mine because you've got to feed everybody on the show. But keep in mind, your receipt is literally the best tool to help you identify what you actually need versus what your mind is telling you you want. It's a list that already has typed out everything you bought from your previous trip. Now, you're going to start to see your spending patterns, your habits, your wins, your losses from this receipt. Next, begin to identify your go-to basics or the staples like eggs or milk or coffee. You can do this by circling what you classify as your essentials. Now, once you have that down, then figure out what meals you're going to eat for the entire week. Here you can get a little bit more creative without ending up with spoiled leftovers in the refrigerator. Nobody wants to waste food these days. Add those items to your receipt. Then map out your visit and keep your eye on the road.
Now, as part of the hack, you're actually offering us the opportunity to leave 3 blank spaces at the end of the receipt so you have some spontaneity, because impulse shoppers are known for that.
We are. And keep in mind, if you've had a really bad day, you want that chocolate to make you feel better. And if you've had a really good day, you still want the chocolate to make you feel better. So if you still feel the need to buy something random, a good rule of thumb is to allow yourself 3 blank spaces to limit those impulse shoppers at the end of your receipt. These spaces allow you to purchase up to 3 random impulse items at the grocery store, whether it's at the end of the aisle, at the cash register, but reward yourself. And remember, as you go, you've got to fill in what you've picked out on that receipt. You're allowing yourself to get what you want, but you're also keeping track and avoiding overspending and driving up that receipt.
Phil, practical as always. Thank you so much. And finally, the hoarder type. This is the person who thinks more purchases equals more security. They're not afraid to overstock on these goods. For news, she says it's a hidden trap for hoarders at supermarket that they've got to be on the lookout.
Yeah, and I used to fall for this. Everyone's going to recognize this. It's when you go into the grocery store, and let's say you're going down the yogurt aisle, and you see 10 yogurts for $10.
Yeah.
And that's a new special of the week. And you assume, I have to buy all 10 to get this $1 per unit price. Guess what? Not always true. Not usually true. You can just get 3 for $3, okay? But this is proven. This is a hack, a psychological hack that supermarket marketers use to get us to spend more. They know it works. So my advice is if you want to buy all 10, that's fine, but you have to know yourself. In my family, that would go quickly, 10 yogurts. I got 2 growing kids. But, other items could easily go to waste. You have to have a bulk buying strategy, and it may not always be best to shop at the grocery store. Maybe you go to the wholesalers, but try to find things that won't go to waste or things you can easily freeze, things like trash bags, pasta, frozen vegetables, things like that.
You studied how emotions can play a role in how we shop.
Yeah.
So how do you tackle the anxiety that hoarders face?
I do think the internet has a lot to, we have a lot to blame for the internet. We go to all the same sites. It starts to study our habits. They start to bring up all those usual pop-up ads, the marketing emails. So my advice, just do maybe a 24 to 48-hour digital detox. Release yourself from the internet. That includes email, includes social media, and bring in a healthy distraction, whether that's opening up a new book, catching up with old friends, going for a walk. You have to distance yourself to lower the dopamine levels because shopping is an addiction. We get a high. And I think you can then proceed with more clarity and more empowerment.
Beautifully stated. Thanks for being with us. Phil and Far News did a wonderful job explaining the 3 types of shoppers. Take advantage of it.